Hey guys, what's up? Joe again. Morning energy drink. It's an energy drink, I swear. Alright, I'm not a camera guy. I'm not gonna, blow smoke up your ass acting like I know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to cameras, all that. However, the only thing that I am familiar with is how to work with footage, right? From the looks of it, most people, when they want to like increase their game in the sense of like, having a good image quality, they seem to go for the DSLR cameras, right? A good, with a good lens and all that shit, and a good sensor and whatnot, right? Paul usually works with like the Panasonic GH5, model cameras. I believe he has a GH4 also, right? So he has a total of like 3 cameras, right? So yeah, just the housing itself, they could be up there, right, in $1,000 areas, right? But he does get a lot of compliments on how good the image quality is, right? That along with the lens and all that stuff. So the image quality is good, right? Now, as you may know, I go and help him film. We use 2 cameras for the most part, right? We use one main camera to film usually static shots, meaning like I'm in a position, I have the camera on a tripod, it's focused on him or whatever it is that we're filming, and pretty much we usually do the manual settings on that, right? In the sense of like doing like the white balance, adjusting the ISO and the f-stops and all this stuff, right? We do all that manually to get like the kind of image quality that we want, right? We have a second camera, which is we consider for like the B footage when we're like hand holding the camera and trying to get close up. We're moving around. I'm following him around with the camera and all that stuff, right? That's the second camera that we use, right? That one has a different like lens on it that focuses a lot faster, right? That way when you're moving around, we can focus a lot quicker, right? However, I don't know, a while back we first did everything manually when we were doing like the handheld stuff, but without me telling him or asking him, I pretty much set it to auto to see what happens, so if he'll say anything, and then he has it. So then after like a few projects, like he noticed that the camera was set to auto and he kind of pointed it out because, he wanted to have it a manual, whatever. And I told him, dude, I've been doing this for a few projects back. He's all like, dick. But yeah, anyways, the image quality is different. Me working with it, actually the results are pretty good. So having the camera set to auto when we're doing like the handheld stuff, it has helped me a lot in the sense like I can follow him around and the camera pretty much adjusts itself, with like the lighting and the white balance all automatically without me like, asking him to stop and me readjusting everything and whatever. That way we could just film and go, right? I guess the point I'm trying to get at is that if you're paying like over $1,000 for a fucking camera, then most likely the auto settings should be good. You need to learn to work with it. That way, like the camera could do the work for you, right? Especially when you're investing that much money in the camera. This is a project we did like when he was working on the Century build. And here's the 2 footage. This is from like the main camera because I have it on a tripod. And these are like the manual settings, right? And here is like the scopes, pretty much what I'm trying to like, so you can see like the color information, right? Everything that touches here in the bottom, that's absolute black. Everything that touches up here, that's absolute white. And pretty much every here that overlaps with each other, that means like all the color information is being mixed into here, right? This is footage of the handheld camera, the secondary camera, but in the automatic settings. And you can see what a massive difference, right? And like the color information has. Everything's kind of like spread out more evenly. There's more like highlights than there is here. See, there's not that many highlights. So in this case, with this footage, I have to boost it up. But with the camera with the auto settings, see pretty much everything's boosted up close to like, the absolute white area. So everything's more spread out, right? The reason why I like using the auto settings for the camera, like I said, as we're moving around, the camera adjusts itself automatically, right? The white balance, the f-stops and all that stuff, it just does it automatically. The camera does a very good job of it, right? However, the thing that I noticed when the auto settings is it's basically, it gives you a very cold look. So from this footage, as you can see, everything looks pretty cold. There's no warmth to it, right? Like it looks like you're shooting this inside of a hospital or something like that. Whereas like the other camera, you can see everything is more, it's not as blue. As you can see here, there's more reds, right? You can see more of the reds. Over here, see there's not as much reds. There is, because you see you have this thing. As you can see, pretty much there's more greens being mixed and whatnot, so there's not that much reds as is with the other camera, right? So this is where like I kind of start to mess around with it to get more of a correct color correction. So for the most part, when you select the clip, you go to the Lumetri color, and you want to select the master, right? When you set it to the master, that means that the original clip gets color corrected. For example, if I was to select this clip and I do not select the master, if I was to like adjust this, if I was to select the same clip, it doesn't have the color correction, right? Let me reset that. In this case, if I select it and I hit the master, then I do my color correction. Now this clip, even though I haven't touched it, because it's the master, the color correction transfers over, right? In that case, when you're doing like, say white balancing and other stuff, you want to make sure when you select the clip, you also select the master. All right, let me reset that. So what I do is basically for the main camera, that everything's set to manual. What I want to do is select it, again, select the master. Then what I do is I'm going to hit the exposure and I'm going to increase this a bit, roughly around this area, right? I don't want to go too high. A little higher. And see, as you can see up here, what we want to do is we also want to increase the whites. We should set it to 3. And if it looks too red, what we can do is we can just say add a little bit of blue. Just kill like the red a bit with the temperature. Sometimes there's kind of a tint of green. So what I do is just set the tint to 1, just to add a little bit of red to kill the green, right? Now with like the second camera that has all the auto features built into it, as you can see here, pretty much everything is kind of boosted up, right? So in this case, what I do is like after selecting my clip and clicking on master, at the exposure area, I tune it down a bit, kind of like to match, kind of like to reach this area like the previous clip. See, in this case, like I said, it looks too cold, right? So we want to add some warmth in this case. Add a little bit of warmth. And again, if you feel like there's a tint of green on the tint, I just add some red, right? And that's basically it. Now if I jump between these two, you can see here, I increased like the exposure of it. I added a little bit of blue, and I removed some of the green by adding like some red tint. If I jump over to this one, they look pretty much the same, right? So yeah, I mean, having the camera set to auto, it does a good job. The other thing is you gotta learn to like pretty much just reduce the values of it, because the values could be too high. It could look too bright or it could look too blue or whatever. So you gotta have to do a little bit of work on it to match the other camera. But in the sense of production, when I'm filming, having that set to auto, it saves me a lot of time, so I could just follow them around and we could just film and then move on to the next step of the computer build, right? And also, like I said, if you paid like that much money for a camera, then I just don't see why having the camera work for you for a bit, in the sense of having the auto settings to help you do all the other shit, right? Now, if you're into cameras and you want to do everything, by manually, cool. I'm not saying that's bad, right? But someone like me that pretty much, I just want to help get the video done as quickly as possible. That way I can turn around and start editing, since I know how to work with the footage. And like I said, we've been doing this for a while, and everybody compliments Paul on like the overall quality of the image quality. So don't feel embarrassed or ashamed to have your camera set on auto every now and then. It will help you out, right? Just learn how to pretty much, adjust like the color values once you start messing with it in post-production, right? So anyways, that's it. having the camera on auto is not a bad thing. So I got for you. Take care and peace.